Hey everybody, what is up? This is Kirsten here. Thank you so much for joining me on this new episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. Today we're going to talk about the expectations that you should have or shouldn't have when you are going through the different phases in your journey, changing your nutrition with the end goal of weight loss, fat loss. So today we're going to talk about the two different phases, right? One of them is the reverse diet and the other one is the deficit that most of my people, most of the clients who work with me have to go through. It's not everybody needs to do a reverse diet, but many of them do. And many of them may have slightly, let's say, not accurate expectations when it comes to reverse diet. So I wanted to kind of clear up this confusion a little bit today and tell you what are the right things to expect in both of these phases. Now, before we dive in, I wanted to definitely remind you that my Facebook group called Fit and Fueled is open, waiting for you to join. So I hope you can join it. I share a lot there, a lot of tips and tricks and tools for better nutrition, some workout demonstrations. I've been doing more of the workout demonstrations lately. Just yesterday, for example, I demonstrated 3 of my favorite back building exercises. And also, I'm definitely going to share more of the food posts because recently I did a poll there. A lot of people said that they want to see more food. So, okay, let's do it. Let's share more of the food stuff, how you can get, your high protein meals in, how you can add maybe a little bit of variety to your diet, some of my favorite recipes, and so on. I'll say though that I am not a big chef. So if you are expecting super elaborate meals, that's not what we're going to do there. My goal is to simplify everything. I like to simplify things. I like to make life easier for myself that way. And also want to show you that tracking your macros doesn't have to be super hard. It's super complicated. And, you don't have to make perfect meals that, you can find in fancy cookbooks or something like that. No, I just want to keep things really simple and help you do the same. So make sure that you join the group. It's called Fit and Fueled, and you can find it on Facebook. And sometimes I do fun giveaways there too. Last week, I gave away one of my favorite books to one of the members. So it's definitely a good place to be. I have a lot of fun there. So join the group if you're not a member yet. Okay, so moving on to today's topic and talking about the reverse diet and the calorie deficit. What are the differences and what kind of expectations you should have for either one of them? Now, I have talked about the reverse diet so much on this podcast. So you can literally search for reverse diet when you're on YouTube. There's this little magnifying glass. You can click on that when you go to my channel and then search for different episodes. I have talked about it a lot. Some time ago, maybe a year ago, or maybe even more, I did a whole mini series, all about reverse diet. So there's a lot of valuable information there. So what I'm going to tell you today, there's a little bit of overlap as far as, telling you what the reverse diet is and how to do it. But also today, like I said, we're going to focus more on the expectations part. And then, of course, the calorie deficit is everybody knows, usually what it is. It's taking your calories down with the goal of weight loss, fat loss. Now, when does somebody need a reverse diet? The number one reason why somebody needs a reverse diet is that they have been eating less than what their body actually needs in order to function properly, and also in order to set the body up for successful fat loss later. So here's a typical example. Somebody has been doing lots of diets, eating, let's say 1,300 or 1,500 or 1,700 calories for a very long time. And now their body has adapted to this amount of calories. So it means that if you have been eating 1,700, which may not sound super low to you, but it is if your actual needs for maintenance are 2,200, then you have still been in a slight minus all the time. And now your body doesn't want you to burn more than the same 1,700 calories. And you are really stuck because you're not able to put on muscle, you're not able to get leaner, you're not able to lose weight. And the reason is really because you have been eating low calories for way too long. And now you need a reverse diet. So I gave you one example, which is like, okay, 1,700 calories, which I see very commonly. But also, unfortunately, a lot of times women have been eating like 1,000 or 1,200 something like that, which is really, really low and is often lower than what their maintenance is, what their total daily energy expenditure is, and what is also sometimes lower than their even their basal metabolic rate. So just to go over that term one more time, basal metabolic rate is the estimated number of calories that your body needs at rest. So if you have a day when you're sick at home and you're in bed all day, your body still burns calories, right? It's not that it doesn't do anything. Now it's, 0-calorie burn. No, it still needs calories because it burns calories. It uses calories for certain processes in the body. And if you are eating less than that, and at the same time also trying to work out, for example, you are putting your body into a place where it just adapts and now you are stuck, right? So BMR is the basal metabolic rate. So just to give you an example, for somebody, it can be 1,500 calories. And now they have been on this diet where they have been eating 1,200 calories, 1,300 calories, even up to 1,500, it's still low. So they're not even meeting their basic needs because they are not in bed all day long, just resting. They're doing a lot of things. So that's why you need that reverse diet, which means then essentially increasing your metabolic rate, bringing the calories up. So if you're somebody who's saying, oh, my metabolism is so slow, it's so sluggish, probably it is because you have been dieting way too long and kept your calories down for way too long. So now if you have a weight loss goal and you are coming from this background of doing lots of diets and eating too low calories, you do need a reverse diet. And this period when you are doing your reverse diet should be seen as a preparation for future weight loss, fat loss. So now this is where I think people get confused because they think that reverse diet automatically means that you're starting to lose weight as soon as you start adding your calories. So this can sometimes happen. And I have seen this, and I right now have especially like a super cool example from one of my clients who was eating 1,800 calories, which was low for her. Her body weight was 234 pounds, and we have increased the calories. They are now close to 2,500, and she is weighing 218 pounds. So you do the math. What is it? 234 minus 218. So it's quite significant that she has lost. But I'm going to be honest with you, this is not everybody. So not everybody loses weight on a reverse diet. And I think there might be this perception that this is what should be happening because we talk about these like miraculous transformations sometimes, but this is not every single person. So when we start a reverse diet, there's no guarantee. We don't know exactly what your body weight is going to do. Sometimes it stays the same, which is wonderful. Sometimes it goes up a little bit. And sometimes, like in this client's case, it can go down. But what I want you to understand is that the reverse diet is not a guarantee for weight loss. The reverse diet is a preparation for a future weight loss. The reverse diet should really be seen as something that we have to do to get your body to a healthy place, because right now it is not healthy. Your hormones are not responsive. You are not getting the result that you want if you start cutting the calories back down. So let's use an example here. Somebody's eating 1,700 calories, wants to lose weight, but 1,700 calories is already a little bit too low for her. So now in order for her to start losing weight, they would have to cut their calories to maybe 1,450. And this is super low for most women. Now, when we go through the process of reverse dieting, we increase the calories temporarily. We get them up to, let's say, 2,300. Then we can do a cut later. And now the cut calories, the deficit calories are maybe going to be 1,900, right? Which is way better place to be compared to 1,450. So I hope that it makes sense. And yes, some people do lose weight, like I said, but this is not everybody. Now, what I have noticed is that it's about 30% of people who are the lucky ones who will start losing in a reverse diet. And then the rest, 70%, they either maintain their weight or they may gain a little bit. However, this weight gain doesn't have to necessarily mean that you're going to get like super out of shape and put on tons of body fat. You know, the reason why I do the reverse diet really, really gradually is to make sure that your body fat gain is minimal. Right? That's why the calories have to be brought up gradually, not by eating 500 calories more tomorrow, because that way you probably will gain a little bit too much body fat. So we don't want that. We want to do it gradually to minimize the body fat gain. So, okay, let's say that now you are convinced, you understand the reason why you need a reverse. So what do you expect then? What kind of wins should you expect? And sometimes I get people asking me like very, very detailed questions. They want to know exactly what is going to happen. And they ask, am I going to lose body weight? Am I going to lose body fat? Are my, clothes going to fit better and looser? And how exactly is it going to look like? How many pounds did I lose? And there is no one answer that fits everybody. That's true for everybody. It's just not how it works. So let's then talk about what should you want to get out of a reverse diet so that you go into it with right expectations and don't get into the situation where you're all disappointed because you thought you're going to lose a ton of weight, but then you actually didn't. So your goals when you enter the reverse should be different. So the way you count your wins, the things that you celebrate are going to be different compared to those that you count and celebrate in your calorie deficit. Okay, so first thing that you will notice if you do everything right according to how I teach you is that you should definitely notice increased strength, right? So I do ask you that you do lift weights no matter what your starting point is, if you're a complete beginner or if you have already lifted before and now it's just continuing it, but you have to be able to lift heavier over time. So I want you to get stronger because now when we add those calories in, then they should be used for building strength because this is what's going to be revealed later. You're going to put on muscle and later when you go into deficit, which is the second half that we're going to talk about a little bit later, now the results are going to be revealed. So you have to really focus on gaining strength. And this is what you're going to celebrate. So I want you to write down the weights that you are lifting. Okay, how much did I squat this workout? How much did I overhead press in this workout? And for my clients, I have a workout tracker for them that they can print out and take with them to the gym and write everything down. You can, of course, use an app if you want to, but if you like pen and paper, then this is a better option for you. So you're going to write the numbers down and then you're going to challenge yourself and push yourself to build more muscle and to get stronger. Now, this is how you celebrate your wins. Your wins in the reverse shouldn't be measured how much weight I lost. Your wins should be measured by how much weight I was able to put on my barbell or how heavy deadlifts, or sorry, how heavy dumbbells was I able to use, or if you use a cable machine, how many plates was I able to add. This is the one thing that you want to celebrate and count as your win, right? I hope that it makes sense to you. So the next thing that you should definitely celebrate and notice and accomplish in your reverse diet is that your energy is just better. And sometimes I hear this instantly when we enter the reverse diet. And again, another example comes to my mind right now, working with somebody who was eating 1,500 calories for a long time. And it was just way too low. This was not even her BMR. So now that we increased her calories up, already the first week, she's telling me, I'm having so much better energy. I'm calmer, I'm not as anxious. So this is exactly what we should be looking for. You're not getting tired as easily. You can do the things that you need to do without feeling like you have zero energy to give. So this is another thing that you want to notice. Is my energy picking up? Am I feeling better in that way? Because that should really happen in a reverse diet because you're simply eating more food and getting more calories into your system, which should give you energy. The next thing that I often see, and it's absolutely worth celebrating, is if your sleep is getting better. Again, something that I see very often in those who are doing reverse diet. Previously, their bodies were just so depleted. The body was just under so much stress that they couldn't sleep. And I'm not saying that there couldn't be other reasons for sleep problems, but one of the things, like if you have been under eating for a long time, that is going to improve very likely is your sleep, the quality of your sleep, how long you're able to sleep, and how deeply you sleep. I like to use examples from my day-to-day coaching. I hope that they inspire you because I just remembered again another one. This one woman just told me recently that finally she has stopped getting up every night and going to use the bathroom. She doesn't need to do that anymore. So there's nothing wrong with it. If you need to get up once a night to use the bathroom, fine. But at the same time, if now we are increasing calories and we're noticing that this need goes away, you don't have to get up all the time, then this is absolutely a win. So look at that. Are you able to sleep better? Because this is one of the things that often happens in a reverse diet. It's a really positive and really, really healthy thing, obviously. Now, the next thing that will improve and you should celebrate when you are going through your reverse is that your hormonal balance is better. And this is literally the result of just eating more food for a lot of people. Like I mentioned so many times here, hormones don't go crazy on their own. Of course, shifts are happening when we are getting to perimenopause and menopause, obviously, yes. But also, what are we doing with our lifestyle? And when we are eating more, when we're eating enough and eating the right foods, then there's a really good chance that your hormones will be better balanced. The other thing that absolutely helps with your hormonal balance when it's done right is resistance training. So if you train correctly, and when you are resting also correctly and feeding your body after your workouts and overall eating enough, then your hormones will get to a better place. And that can manifest in so many different ways. Your recovery is better, your libido is better, your periods are better, there's less PMS. Overall, you're just feeling better because your hormones are better balanced, and that starts with your lifestyle. So if you are having signs of really bad hormonal imbalances, like lots of PMS and migraines and other problems, hair loss maybe, then these are clear signs that you probably are not ready for a weight loss, fat loss phase or the deficit phase. And you still have to either keep reversing or get yourself up to maintenance and eat higher calories for a little while, because your body is under too much stress for you to start losing weight, for you to go into calorie deficit. So improved hormone levels is definitely one thing that you can notice in the reverse diet. And this is how you should measure the success of your reverse diet. Are these things improving? I already mentioned libido, so this is definitely one of the really big things. So sometimes women say that they have absolutely no interest in sex and haven't had it in months, maybe because they just couldn't care less. This is actually not normal. You have to have a normal sex drive, and this is one of the indicators of your health. So again, I didn't even write them down, but I keep remembering these recent conversations with many of my clients, and one of them struggled with that for a long time. And she didn't even mention that this is a problem until I asked, because she had all these other signs of not doing too well. She was eating 1,600 calories for years. And then at some point I asked her, how's your libido? And she said, absolutely nothing. I haven't had that interest in a long time. And then just recently, let's say a couple of weeks ago, maybe, she mentioned that, oh, okay, I'm kind of waking up here and my libido is making a comeback. So this is obviously a sign that your body is functioning better. And this is because you're probably resting more and feeding your body correctly. So look at that. How is that going? Because if you never have any sex drive, this is not healthy. This is not how it should be. Again, there could be other reasons why this is the case. But if you have been chronically under eating or doing lots of dieting, then that's definitely one of the things that will happen. Now, what other things are important or worth celebrating when you're going through a reverse diet? Now, one of the things that may not seem like a win, but it actually is a win, if you notice that you're getting a little bit hungrier, this is a good sign. Again, a lot of times when we have been eating very low calories for a long time, and what's especially common is skipping breakfast because we just don't have hunger. These are all signs that your metabolism is freaking slow. It doesn't like you're so stressed that you don't want to eat. Your metabolism is so slow that it doesn't require more energy. It doesn't know to require more. You probably don't have enough muscle mass in the body, because if you have muscle mass, then you have normal, good, healthy appetite. So now when I hear that people are getting their appetite back and they wake up in the morning with a little bit of hunger, this is a good thing. I don't care what you've been told or how you've been brainwashed to think that this is a bad thing or this is something we should be ashamed of. Oh my God, I'm hungry. It's as if women are never supposed to be hungry. Honestly, it's such a silly kind of perception, or this idea that women should eat like little birds and just, a little bit of chicken or a little bit of white fish with some broccoli. No, I actually celebrate if you are telling me that I'm getting my hunger back. I ate like a good chunk of steak yesterday because I felt like it. I wake up in the morning and within the first 60 minutes, I do feel hunger. These are things worth celebrating, especially if you have been working on putting on muscle, improving your strength. This is what should be happening. If it doesn't happen, something's off, and we probably have to still keep working on it. We may do things like establishing more regular eating schedule so that the hunger signals kind of start waking up a little bit. But this is a normal sign. This is a very healthy sign if you start having hunger again. So these are the things that you should be aware of when you enter the reverse diet. So your goals shouldn't be like, hey, how much weight am I going to lose this first week or the second week or even throughout the reverse diet? This is irrelevant here. You have to understand that the goals are different here. Your wins are going to be different. So when I get on a call with you for a check-in call and I'm asking you, what are the wins for this week? Then you're telling me things like, oh, the weight is not down. Then it's like, did we even listen? Because we have to understand the purpose of a reverse. And I want to hear things like better energy, improved mood. I didn't mention that, but improved mood, better appetite, feeling stronger, having better recovery between your workouts, sleeping deeper. These are things that you want to celebrate in your reverse phase. Okay. So now let's say that you reverse your calories up and everything went well, and you had these wins to celebrate, you understood the purpose. Then what we're going to do next is we're going to maintain these high calories because your body needs some time to get used to it. It needs this extra layer of comfort because we don't want to start cutting down immediately after we have increased your calories up to your maintenance level, because this is not enough time. If you cut down immediately, and I have heard about it from people who said, I did it and I cut down and nothing happened, I didn't lose weight. This is probably because you didn't keep the calories up for long enough for you to see the results. So there has to be a maintenance period for several months before we start cutting down. And please don't get impatient. This is necessary. And I'll tell you, I see the best results with these clients who have stayed at maintenance longer versus those who are rushing into it, or sometimes they quit the program and then they go and do the cut on their own, and then they struggle and they get stuck because they didn't have the patience to wait until it's the appropriate time to cut. All right, so let's now assume that you did your reverse, you did your maintenance properly for several months, and now you're ready to enter deficit. Okay, so this is where everybody wants to get to, because now here your wins are going to be different. Right? Your wins are going to be different. And this is kind of where everybody wants to shortcut to, but they cannot, right? So what are the wins in the deficit? I think you already know. The wins are better muscle definition. So what happens here is that when you have put in the work in your reverse and maintenance to build muscle and get really strong, then now when we start reducing your calories, we are taking the fat percentage down. And what you built during those previous phases is going to show, right? Your work, your hard work that you hopefully did is going to show, because the fat percentage is going to come down. At the same time, you're obviously going to continue lifting weights just like you did in reverse and maintenance, but the difference comes from calories, really, from your nutrition. Now, you, of course, are going to see fat loss. If you did everything right in your reverse and in your maintenance and now enter the deficit, yes, you're going to get your fat loss. This is where the definition comes from. And a lot of times you're also going to see weight loss, right? So this is where everybody's eyes are always like on the scale, though I don't like it as the main way to measure progress. You already know that, but you very likely will lose weight. Yes, you will. So these are the things you're going to celebrate in a deficit. And of course, your clothes, right? How are your clothes fitting? Are they fitting a little bit looser? Are you going down, in your dress size? Is that changing? So these are the changes. In your photos, are you getting leaner? Are you getting smaller? These are the things that you want. And I want to emphasize again, like a lot of times people start their reverse with these wins in mind. They want to see the weight loss, fat loss, muscle definition, smaller clothes already in the reverse. But a lot of times this is not the case. Sometimes it is, like I said, 30% of people, but not for everybody. Now, what you may still see in reverse, yeah, you may see more muscle, obviously, and you may feel like your clothes are fitting differently. So oftentimes they're fitting kind of looser in the midsection, but might feel a little tighter in your booty and shoulders because you're finally doing good workouts, hopefully. So you can definitely see that. But the bigger change, right? The bigger shift now, the real visible that you can see in the mirror, that you can feel in your clothing, this stuff comes in a deficit mostly. So I want this to be super, super clear. So what not to expect in a deficit, although it can sometimes happen, if you're somebody who gets very kind of excited about strength gains, which is awesome, you may actually feel a little disappointed when you see that now your strength is going down. But this makes totally sense because when you are eating less calories, which you do in a calorie deficit, then you may not be able to hit the PRs the way you did in your reverse when you were adding calories. And it makes total sense, right? You just don't have the same amount of energy and you're not taking in the same amount of calories. So of course, sometimes your strength numbers may go down and you have to be okay with it. So you cannot have all the good things, right? It has happened. Sometimes it does happen that you keep hitting PRs even in a deficit, but I'll say that this is mostly newer lifters. Those who have been lifting for a long time already, they see a little bit of decrease. They may also notice that the energy is not quite as high. Again, makes sense because your calories are lower. But the way you work out in a deficit is still similar to the way you worked out in a reverse and maintenance. It should always be focused on muscle building, even if your calories are lower in a deficit. Your goal should still be that, right? So this is how you go into your workouts. I want to be strong, right? So this is always the same. Now the workout portion is very similar, but now the difference comes from the calories, from your diet. So that's the different, that's what makes the difference between the results in reverse and then in a deficit. So I hope this is clear to you. So when you are entering in one of these phases, you know what to expect and you don't go into it like with wrong expectations and then being disappointed. You have to know how things are going to go, at least approximately, you know what, little bit what to expect. And it's super important to understand that reverse diet is not always a weight loss guarantee. No matter how many questions you ask your coach will probably tell you that I cannot tell you 100% what your body is going to do in a reverse diet. And when I'm saying this, I realize that maybe some people are like, well, okay, I'm not going to do this because I need a guarantee. But my job here is to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you how things are because I cannot tell you that you're going to lose weight in a reverse diet. What I can tell you, though, is that you absolutely need it if you have been dieting for a very long time. So I mentioned that most of my clients actually do have to start from reverse because we are just like this society of over-dieted women. That's what we are. And so many people have to really start there. It happens once in a while that somebody joins my program and I'm taking a look at their food logs and I'm like, okay, good, you can start deficit right away. So who is that person? It's the person who hasn't done many diets recently or hasn't at all. Actually, lately I've had two ladies who said they have never done a single diet in their life, which is really, really cool. And their calories are in a healthy place. They're in a decent place where I feel comfortable. Okay, we can start cutting the calories down. So they can dive into deficit right away and start getting the deficit wins, which were weight loss, fat loss, clothes fitting better right away. For everybody else who needs to reverse first, their goals are going to be a little bit different. But it doesn't mean that you cannot celebrate them or there's nothing to look forward to. There's so much to look forward to. And I honestly haven't heard anybody saying who is in a reverse that their energy is worse or they're not feeling better. The only time they say they're not feeling better is that they get into their heads about the scale, which may, like I said, go up a little or stay the same. Then they might say, oh yeah, I don't feel so well. But if they actually looked into their like physiology and energy and how all that is going, they would notice that they're doing freaking well. I feel like a lot of times we don't know how to really measure our progress and we're just thinking we're expecting wrong things. So that's why I'm doing this episode so that it is clear what to expect. Okay, so I hope that this cleared up a little bit of confusion. If you need a reverse diet, you need it. So in my mind, if you have been eating low calories for a long time, this is not a question of like, oh, do I need it? Do I not? You may push it away. You may like, I'll do it later, or I don't think I need it. I'm not too sure if I need it. I'll try another diet. So this reverse diet for people who are over dieted, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, because you have to do this. And in my opinion, the sooner you do it, the better, because the more over dieted we are, the longer the reverse is going to take. So if you have been doing, eating low calories for a very long time, say like 5 years already, constantly dieting, then it's going to take a little bit longer to get you out of that place and get your body to a healthier place. Now, somebody who has been doing it for less time, then for them it's going to be faster, and they can dive into the deficit also sooner. All right, so this is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.